And you are on.
I am?
You are.
I am on. I'm gonna let everybody get.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Kill that overhead light behind you.
Technical stuff, guys. Can you refresh the page, baby?
I got it.
Thank you.
Got 4.
All right. You're on.
Okay, hi everybody and happy Friday. Welcome back to my kitchen. I hope everyone had a really good week. This week since last week, it's gotten a little colder here in Michigan, which, I mean, that's kind of par for the course. That's what we expect. But it's going to get warmer, hopefully soon, and then we can all get back outside and take those walks and do all the fun things that we love doing. So tonight I'm going to start the live cooking segment with just a little bit of a PSA. I know that we've got people that are tuning in from other places like Ohio and Indiana, so hi to my friends and family who tune in from further away than Michigan. But I wanted to put my Chamber of Commerce Director hat back on for just a second and talk about something local, and that is the Orion Strong movement that we have here in Lake Orion. My good friends at M&B Graphics downtown Lake Orion are producing, or they're making all of these wonderful Orion Strong merchandise, and what they're doing is they're selling it, you know, so that we can all show our strength in numbers here in Orion. But they're also, with every purchase, they're giving you a really cool sticker that you can put on your car. For my sake, I'm going to put it on my computer with all my other stickers. But they're also giving away washable face masks. And with every purchase that you make, $5 is going to be donated to Love Inc., Love in the Name of Christ, North Oakland County. And that's an organization that gives back to people in, obviously, North Oakland County, Oxford and Lake Orion area, who are the most in need at this time. So we really appreciate everything that M&B Graphics and Love Inc., North Oakland County does for our community. So if you want your own Orion Strong gear, I'll leave a link to M&B Graphics and their website for you to order. You can have it shipped to you, or you can arrange to have it picked up at their house. But anyway, so that's my PSA Orion Strong for the day. So, and as you know, I know I'm an apron wearer, so I don't want to mess up my Orion Strong shirt. So here we go. So tonight we're gonna pull from my pantry, because a lot of people probably at this point don't have a whole lot of super fresh things going on, and maybe, you know, your choices in meat might be a little bit lean, no pun intended, meaning that you maybe don't have a lot to choose from. So we're gonna pull, I pulled some things from my pantry, and we're gonna make some. The only fresh things that I have here are some baby arugula and some scallions and a little bit of lemon juice. But I've got a pot of water going here, because I'm gonna start by cooking my pasta. And I'm not gonna do a whole lot of pasta here. This is a 1 pound bag, gemelli, I think I'm saying it right. I'm not Italian. If you're Italian and I said it wrong, I apologize. You can yell at me later. But I've got my pot going over here. I'll put a little salt in there first. Just get that salted a little bit. And then I'm gonna pour maybe a third of the bag in here. And get that going. You can use any kind of pasta that's kind of smaller and bite-sized. Little baby bow ties would be good. Maybe little, you know, penne would be good. Of course, probably elbow noodles, that type of thing. And I'm gonna bring this back up to a boil, and we'll let that go while we talk about the other things. Now, one of the cool things that I really like to do when I'm doing like chicken or seafood and things like that is I like to take a lemon, and I like to put it in the pan. If I'm putting in the oven to roast it, I like to put it in the pan and kind of roast it and get it a little bit charred. It gives a little bit of a different flavor, and it's really super juicy. So I just have 1 lemon here, And I have my grill pan. So I'm gonna plunk these on top of here. And just kind of get those going. This is a really cool thing to do on your outdoor grill as well. Like if you're grilling pork chops or, you know, maybe shrimp or something else. Even steaks are really good with some lemon juice splashed over the top of it. But I'm just gonna get these going. And then, so pasta's going, and then the lemons are charring. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of a flavor profile that I think is really yummy. And I used to sell an item, it was a Tuscan herb mix, and it basically had a lot of, you know, those herbs that you think about when you think about Italian food. It's got rosemary, thyme, basil, oregano, marjoram, that type of thing. I have an Italian seasoning blend, and that's what I'm going to start with. But I'm also going to add some fennel seed, and I'm going to add some red pepper flake. For some reason, lately, I'm all about red pepper flakes when I wasn't really before. But I just find that lately I just like a little bit more heat in my food for some reason. But this is my mortar and pestle, and I know that already some of you are like, okay, Kim, I don't have a mortar and pestle. What am I gonna do? If you don't have one, that's totally fine. I would just take a rolling pin and maybe on top of your cutting board, just put your rolling pin over the top of it, or you know, crush it with the bottom of a mug or something like that. You just really want to, because these fennel seeds are kind of big, and if you have fennel seed, that's awesome. If you don't have fennel seed, that's totally fine. But if you have it, you do want to crush it up because you don't want to bite into a big fennel seed. And I want to stir this real quick and make sure it's not sticking. Actually, you know what? I was gonna. Ooh, okay, it's going nicely. So I am going to make a dressing out of this, these herbs and spices. So I'm going to take a half teaspoon. This is a quarter teaspoon, so I'm going to do 2 of these. Half of a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Half of a teaspoon of fennel seeds. You find fennel seeds a lot in things like Italian sausage. It's kind of that licoricey sort of thing that you're noting. And then I need a quarter of a teaspoon. Now I'm doing a quarter of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes because, like I said, lately I really like everything spicy for some reason. But if red pepper flakes aren't something that you can tolerate, you can just do less or you can leave it out. And then, in the interest of using things from the pantry, a quarter of a teaspoon. No, I'm not going to add that right now. That's right. These are the spices in the mortar and pestle. They're beautiful. I'm just going to brush them up real good here. And you can just really it smells good. It crushes everything up and it just sort of releases the flavors in there because you're going to put this into a dressing and you want all of those essential oils that are stuck in there to come out into your dressing. Remove this. When I make a dressing, I like to put it in a small mason jar and just kind of shake it up. That way it emulsifies really well, and then you can also just stick it in the fridge if you don't use it all. So I'm going to take my spices, jam them all in there, and then I will take that quarter of a teaspoon of garlic powder and put that in there as well. Then 2 tablespoons. So when I make a vinaigrette, I like to put dry ingredients in and then put like the flavoring. So for me, when I make a vinaigrette, the oil isn't really a flavoring, it's what brings it all together. Flavorings to me are the vinegar, the Dijon, the honey, and then the spices. So I need 2. And this, by the way, I wouldn't put any salt in it. And I will leave the recipe for this. And then I need half of a teaspoon of Dijon. This is a 1 teaspoon, so I'm just going to do a little bit. And Dijon just gives it a little bit of a tart flavor, and it also helps emulsify the dressing. and hold it all together so it doesn't separate. And then a teaspoon of honey, just keeping an eye back here on the pasta. All right, I'm putting a little honey in here because I always just like to put a little bit of something sweet into a vinaigrette, especially if we're gonna put it on something that's got something peppery and tart like arugula, and that type of thing. So, set these aside, make a little pinch of salt, a couple grinds of black pepper. And I'm gonna put this olive oil in here, and while I'm shaking this up, I'm gonna ask if there's anybody on that I need to say hi to.
Is that my cue?
Yeah.
All right, Miss Christina Schaefer.
Hi, Christina.
Miss Dolores Kanesh.
Hi, Dolores.
Miss Betty Pazis.
Hey.
Miss Maggie Wolozik.
Hi, Maggie.
And then Miss Kelly Ferguson says, but Mom.
No, it's Mr.
That's
Kelly.
Mr.
Oops.
That's okay.
Oops.
Kelly, I can't believe you're watching because this is Tuna, and I know how you
Yep,
feel about
That's
that.
exactly what his comment was.
I didn't even need to see it to know what Kelly's gonna say. It's funny. Kelly, I'm giving you full permission when this is over to make this whole dish, but just use chicken. But only you. All right, so there's my dressing. Shake it up. As you can see, it gets emulsified and it's all in there and it's all safe. And whatever I don't use is already in its container to be put in the refrigerator. I'm gonna move these over here. And okay. Oh, you guys, seriously, this is crazy. I love this. So, here's my charred lemons. And this adds just such a really awesome flavor when you squeeze this over anything, like I said, chicken or fish, pork, steak, anything like that. Put these on your grill. I know I did it indoors. We'll be able to do it outdoors soon. But this is what I'm saying when I say charred lemons. So I'm going to set this aside. And then this pasta is going to be ready any minute. So I'm going to open the floor up to anybody's questions at the moment while I'm stirring. Are there any questions? If you have any, let me know. All right, I've got about a minute left on those. So I mixed the dressing. Next thing we're going to talk about is this pasta. So, who else do I need to say hi to, guys?
As of right now, that is everyone.
Is it?
It is a very, very attractive viewer thinks your charred lemons are a fantastic idea.
A very attractive viewer thinks that my...
Well,
who's that?
Marla Mangus is on.
Oh, hi!
Hey.
Aw, that's, yes. Our far away friends. Not too far, but far enough. Too far. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. It says it's got 8 seconds. Let me drain this really quick and get a facial because pasta facials are the only way we can get facials right now. Raise your hand if you at this point in this lockdown think that people that work in salons are essential. I do. I feel like it's going to be impossible to get an appointment to get your hair done as soon as everything opens back up. Okay. So, while this pasta is hot, this is the perfect time. Believe it or not, you need to put some kind of flavor outside of just the salt that was in that water into pasta, especially if you're doing a salad. So, I'm gonna try that. It's not super salty, so I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. pan. One sec, I'm gonna grab a strainer. Think about that. I'm gonna take these charred lemons and I'm gonna squeeze them over the top of this pasta. Because the pasta is warm right now, well, it's hot. But what that means is, because I undercooked it by like a minute, it means it's still got some room to soak up juice, moisture, flavor, whatever you've got. So that charred lemon juice is gonna flavor the pasta. So just stir that all around. I know. You guys hear my bird? It sounds like every time I do that, he squeaks. I have a little tiny, I have a tiny parrot, and he's kind of over there in his cage and not real happy with being covered up during these things, but he thinks I'm talking to him. Anyway, okay, so there it is. I'm gonna set this aside to get cooled. Actually, I'm gonna taste it one more time. Yeah, so that lemon juice is gonna soak into the pasta and give it a really fresh flavor. So, next thing I wanna talk about is this arugula and then the other ingredients. The sun-dried tomatoes and the, oh, I put them in the fridge. Excuse me. The beans. Arugula, if you've never had it, what is that movie where he says it's a vegetable? What is that movie?
No idea.
Gosh,
I have no idea.
it's a Steve Martin movie, and he's standing in the grocery store. He's some kind of mobster or something. And he's asking for arugula, and the girl says, I don't know what arugula is. It's a vegetable. Anyway, so it's a really cool, this is a baby arugula. It's also called rocket in some places in the world. But it's got a really kind of like, it's very peppery, and it's sharp. It's got a sharp, peppery flavor to it. So it goes really, really well with like lemon and seafood and that type of thing. If you don't have arugula, that's fine. In this, you could use baby spinach. Ooh, this one's really peppery. Wow. Yeah, so this is a clamshell container, about 5 ounces. When this cools down for a second, I'm gonna add it, probably half of this container, and toss it around, and it will wilt a little bit, which is cool. And then the other thing that I'm using is a can of Great Northern beans. This is not the same thing as cannellini beans. I know that some people go, oh, it's the same thing. It's really not. Cannellini beans are a little bit creamier. These have a little bit more texture to them, but they're really, really good for salads because they're firmer and they hold the texture really, really well. So that's the other thing that I'm using. And then sun-dried tomatoes. I have some sun-dried tomatoes here. I always have them around. They've got kind of a strong flavor because they're, you know, it's concentrated, but they're really dry, you know, because they're sun-dried. So what I do with them is put them into some warm water to soften them up a little bit, and then I can chop them up even finer because you don't want to be chewing on really, really big chunks of sun-dried tomatoes. So while I'm chopping these, if anybody has any questions or suggestions, go ahead and shoot them at me.
Do we have any questions? I guess that's my cue.
Yeah, is it?
Well, Dolores does ask, no wine today.
Oh,
It's very troubling.
what's very troubling that I don't have any wine today?
Yeah,
Oh, should I pour one?
Oh, you should.
you should.
My boxed wine. Yeah, you guys, this is
Nothing's wrong with that.
I'll come over there. It lasts
Maggie
longer.
says, never have I ever used a charred lemon.
Never.
She missed how we did it, but she'll catch it on the replay.
Okay. Yeah, all I did was cut it in half, and I used my indoor grill, and that's you can do that, or when the weather's nicer, go ahead and use your outdoor grill.
Miss Pauses asks, can you use sun-dried tomatoes from a jar packed in oil?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I've bought them both ways. you just got to really kind of taste them first to make sure, because a lot of the flavorings that are going to be in a jarred tomato are going to be the same kinds of things that we put into the dressing. So just make sure you're not like overdoing it. But I love jarred sun-dried tomatoes. Actually, they're kind of my favorite, but this is what I had. So, so I'm going to throw these in here and make a big mess. Yay me! Yeah, I love sun-dried tomatoes. They're so good. All right. And then I'm going to put these beans in here as well. And then some of this arugula. And then this is so yummy. Is there anybody out there that's never tried arugula that feels challenged to do it now? I would love to hear from you, your opinions on arugula. Baby arugula. We're gonna start squeezing again.
Another question from Miss Christina Schaefer.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you make your own sun-dried tomatoes?
I've never made my own sun-dried tomatoes only because I just eat the darn things too fast.
We should try that though.
We should try it, yeah.
Yeah, nice idea.
We should. I think my oven has a dehydrator setting, but I've never actually tried it. That's a good thought, actually. If we get, and that, later on, when we're done with this, I do have some information to share about a local farm that I'm hopefully going to be getting some tomatoes from in the next couple months. Okay, so that's that. All right, and then let me make sure I'm getting here. All right, so we've got the pasta, sun-dried tomato with bean and shallots. Oh, I normally would put shallots or red onion in here. Red onion would be lovely, but I also just kind of like scallions and sun-dried tomatoes together. I don't know what it is, the flavor combination, but I just really like the both of them. So to add a little bit more flavor, how's everything going over there?
Tech support. Everything
support.
is fine, as it should be.
This is some high-level stuff here. I wish I had my friends at ONTV helping out. Joe Johnson, I could use you right now, wherever you are, dude. I mean, I love my husband. He's doing a great job. Don't mind. Alright, so there is a little bit of green onion in there. And I'll toss that around again. Alright, so the star of this dish is tuna. And I'm going to show you a tuna that I bought that is probably a little different, and maybe you haven't seen this before. These tuna fillets come in a jar, and they're line caught. They're very super high quality, and you may be thinking, why would you be showing me this? Where would I be getting this? This actually came from Meyer, and they also have it at Kroger, and you can also get it at Whole Foods. So if you're in Michigan or anywhere near, those are the places that you can find it. But it is, there's all kinds of really good stuff on here. Non-GMO verified. It's tuna, olive oil, water, and salt. You can actually trace the origin of your tuna at their website. Wild caught, hand packed. So
What's the brand name?
It's Tonino. Tonino. Like, Tonino. Lake Orion famous Tonino. But this is really, really good. So if you can't get it, then find one of those other higher end tunas. Maybe one that's packed in olive oil. I think Starkist makes some. But you can see these are really, I'm trying to get out of here. It's yellowfin tuna. But you can see, look at that. This is awesome. Look at these really big chunks. So beautiful. It's really, really pretty. And it smells super fresh. So Kelly, if you're thinking that smells fishy, it doesn't. It actually smells really fresh, and it stays for a long time because it's in olive oil. It's just a little bit dressier. But what I would do with this, and if you later on when we're out of this mess, we can probably get fresh tuna or, ahi tuna steaks. It would be really good to grill those and put that on top of this salad. But for right now, we're just having what we have in our pantry. So I would just take this, put some on a plate. This salad actually is really good on its own. Because of the beans in there, you can, if that's how you choose to get your protein, this could be a vegetarian thing. I am not an expert on vegetarian and vegan food, obviously, because you've probably never seen me do that, but I'm thinking this would probably be something that you could do that's a meatless option. But then I would just kind of take some of this tuna, flake it over the top. This is a 6.7 ounce can. And so you could get 4 servings out of this if it was a lunch, or you could get, maybe 2 big servings for dinner. Then just take a little bit of this Tuscan dressing. Drizzle that on top. No. And it's to your liking. I don't like a whole lot of dressing on mine. There you go. There it is. Should I try it?
Mm-hmm.
The bite shot. There's a photographer that does food photography, and her business is called The Bite Shot, which I think is really cute. There we go. It's super good. And then when it gets warm, you could pack it up and take it to the beach with you. We'll see you at Keatington with tuna salad. So there we go. That's dinner today. 2 other things I want to talk about before we go. Hold on. I'm making a mess of myself. Okay, no, 3 other things I want to talk about, actually. I want to give another shout out to my friend. I was supposed to do that last week and I did not, but I want to give a shout out to my friend Elena Campbell, who is the creative genius and behind Sprout Bake. And I got some of her muffin batter, and I'm going to be playing with it this weekend. And she and I are going to do a live Zoom or whatever it's called, probably next weekend. Granted, everything goes well. But I'm gonna play with some of her batter this weekend and see what I can come up with. But also she and her daughter own Cookies and Cream downtown Lake Orion, and they're opening tomorrow. So if you want some ice cream, be sure to give them a visit. 2 other things that I did say that I was going to share. Is there something?
Proceed.
Okay. 2 other things that I wanted to share. I know resources are kind of hard to come by sometimes for fresh foods and stuff right now. But I did get a suggestion by, actually both the things that I'm going to talk about right now came to me from the ladies of the Daisy Project. The first one is Dana, and she mentioned a long time ago that she gets meats from a place called John Henry's Meats. Now, this is the company, they're located in Midland, I think. They're a Michigan company, but it's a farm, and they have all really good, grass-fed and finished beef and, free-range turkeys and chickens and things like that. So I wanted to see what that was all about, and I made an order on the last day of March. And they said it would take up to 2 weeks to process because they're getting a lot of requests right now. But sure enough, they delivered on the 14th. And we made a turkey breast yesterday. And I was super impressed with the packaging and the flavor and the quality of the meat. And so I just wanted to show you. So this is an English cut roast that I got in my order. And I want you to note, it's so well packaged that, and I've had it out for a little bit, so it does look, but I plunked it right in the freezer because I'm not going to use it right away. But it is so well packaged, it's not gonna get freezer burnt. It's just, and it looks so good and delicious. This is a pork tenderloin, the big thick end of a pork tenderloin. I got 2 of those. And then their chicken breasts are individually packaged, which I wasn't expecting. I ordered 4. There was a bundle, and four chicken breasts came in it, and they were individually packaged, which I really appreciated, because we don't always use, like if we're feeding 4 people, we don't always use, especially this size, 4 individual chicken breasts. So I was really, really impressed with that. I will leave the link to their Facebook page, and then you can find them online that way. But Dana said that she does order, it's a little more expensive, so be aware of that, and they do tack on some shipping right now just because of the way things are. But she says, try their burgers, their kielbasa, their sausage. They will do a specialty cut for you if you want them to. They'll butterfly something if you want them to. It's wonderful. So John Henry's Meats is one place that I can absolutely recommend. And then the other one came to me from my friend Christy Shones. She has a friend, I believe this is the connection. She has a friend she's friends with a family member of someone who owns a farm, Martin Family Farm in K-Pac. And I don't know, three months ago, she was trying to see if anybody in Lake Orion area was interested in doing a CSA, which is like a co-op or a farm share, and then trying to get a drop off here in Lake Orion. And we did it. He just needed 10 people and to say that we would do it, and he would drop off our stuff every week. So it runs from mid to late June through end of October, beginning of November. It's 18 weeks. You can get a half a bushel or 3/4 of a bushel, but it supports a local farm, and it's a totally organic farm. So if that's important to you, then this would be a really good resource. But he is still looking for 20 more people. He has room. I think he said up to 175 families they do shares for them. So he does have room for 20 more shares. So if you're in the Lake Orion area and you'd like to participate in that, I think it was $420 for a half bushel, which is what I ordered. Some of you remember that I did buy gardening stuff, and I have a bunch of seeds there. And you might think, well, why did you order, a CSA if you're going to do a vegetable garden? I haven't proven that I can do a vegetable garden yet. And so if I have way too many vegetables at the end of the year, then I'll share them with everybody. But for right now, until I have proven that I can do that, I'm going to buy them from a local farmer. And that, again, is Martin Family Farm CSA. Again, I'll link the stuff, the information to them if you want to look into that. But before we go and enjoy our dinner, just wanted to make sure there weren't any other questions or any shout outs that I needed to give.
Oh boy, I just refreshed it. Give me a sec.
One more big shout out for Orion Strong.
One more big shout out for Orion Strong. Yes, absolutely. I think that most communities are doing, and I've seen it. My parents live, downriver, and Forgotten Harvest is delivering to them. There's a lot of community things happening, but here in Orion, of course, Orion Strong. I think we all know, M&B Graphics and the Reard family. They're working hard for you, and they always do everything that they can to support us. They give money to the Shop with a Hero program at the end of the year for the Lake Orion Police Department. So I'm just, if you have extra money in your pocket and you want a t-shirt or a jacket or hat or something like that, this is Orion Strong, that shows, how you feel about your neighborhood, your community, go to M&B Graphics and order something, and of course you get that awesome sticker and face mask. So I think those face masks would look really cool if we all wore them at the parade, the Christmas parade this year. So
We should talk him into making an apron.
I would love an Orion Strong apron. Oh my God. Challenge to you guys. Orion Strong apron. That would be amazing. Anything else before we go?
Lots of love for arugula.
Lots of love
Lots of love for
From a lot of different people, yeah.
It's a vegetable. Okay. I will write this recipe down and make sure that I share it. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you all very soon.
Hi,
Take
Ref
care.
and Amy.